Welcome to episode 232, Generation of Change, Empowering Afghan Girls and Women Through Online Education. We've had a couple of shows about that topic previously, so I think we'll go into a little more depth here in a very unique program. But before we do, we have a commercial break because someone has an announcement to make about one of our co-hosts. We have 4 co-hosts with us. Well, I'm Kurt Bunk from Indiana University, Punya Mishra from Arizona State University on the West Coast, Chris Dede from the East Coast at Harvard University, and Lydia Kao from the University of Toronto. And Young Zhao has joined us from the University of Kansas, but actually he's living in Oregon. So we have 2 West Coast, a couple East Coast. I'm here in the Midwest. Chris has an announcement to make. Chris.
So we have a celebration today because Dr. Lydia Kao is now Professor Lydia Kao. She is an assistant professor at the University of Toronto, and we couldn't be happier for her. So congratulations, Lydia.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, this is a surprise. Thank you, everyone.
We can go on maybe the whole hour on this because this is not a small thing. It is actually probably the best job in the entire North America this year. I mean, I've seen many job postings, and this would be the one if I was a new person I'd be applying for and holding my finger, crossing both of them for a long time. So Lydia, deep congratulations to you. I know you'll do well there. We all know you'll do well there, and we're proud to have you as a co-host on this show. It's amazing. I've been a professor for 36 years. I don't know if anybody who's gotten a better first position in their career. I just don't have it. I'm trying to think of one. So big congratulations, Lydia. Young, you're just joined us. Did you want to say anything there in that regard?
Well, congratulations. That's I agree with you. It's a great job. So I believe you'll do great. Thanks,
Punya.
There was not a surprise, but it's always good to have that paperwork signed, and you're going to be great at this. Just happy for you. Happy for you. It's great. It's great.
This is a great show, number 232. If anyone's listening on the trails 2 months from now, write Lydia a note and ask her how she's doing at the University of Toronto at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education called OISE. Well, on our show today, we have Safar Hamrah, who's here in Bloomington as a sophomore in computer science education at Indiana University. He's been involved in a program called Generation of Change, which is, he's in fact the founder or co-founder of it, a volunteer-led organization that provides online education to girls to help them attend school even if they can't get to traditional schools. He's trying to promote educational equity and empowerment, as are the 2 other guests today. He's widely recognized for his work in creativity. He's also a photographer, a poet, interested in mindful living. Naweed Hesan is in Tacoma or near Tacoma, Washington. I believe he's from Pakistan originally, if I got that right.
Afghanistan.
In a sense, okay.
Yes.
And has 6 years experience in graphic design and illustration. He's freelanced with startups, NGOs, and other organizations. So he'll tell us a little bit more about his work at Generation of Change as a coordinator there. Our third guest on today's show is Parwin Hamrah, an economics major with a finance minor at Asian University for Women in Bangladesh. She's very interested in the transformative power of education, especially for girls and women, and holds, as we all do, education's a fundamental right for all of us. She's really concerned about when women are silenced or excluded, then the entire nation and region suffer. So they're trying to open up education through alternative means, in particular through online forms of education, which all of us, Lydia, Young, Punya, Chris, and I have been involved with for a long time. And we have not, I don't think, I'm speaking for all of us, we have not been part of a organization like yours. And so we're intrigued to find out what you've accomplished so far, what your goals are in the future, and you know what the scope is, who you've empowered. We want to hear stories and so forth. So I think we should start with Safar. Could you add a little bit to the introduction that I made there in terms of the organization, as well as yourself?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Court, for introducing. And it's a privilege for being with you guys. And I'm Safar Mohammad Hamrah. I was born in Afghanistan and I lived as a refugee in Pakistan for almost 2 years. And I have seen firsthand what it means to be living in uncertainty and to feel what world has forgotten about you. But I saw how powerful even a little access to education could be. And then while I was a refugee in Pakistan and I made the decision, I could not wait for someone to change things. And I started where I was. And where we started the generation of change, even with a laptop and few volunteers, we started offering online classes for Afghan girls and Afghan women. And yeah, my colleagues, Parwin and Naweed will elaborate on that.
Before they do, can you tell us how long the organization's been in existence? A little
Yeah,
bit of the history.
We started a generation of change at the earliest of 2021. Oh, my bad. It was at the earliest of 2022. Yeah, at the earliest of 2022, and so far we have graduated 2,500 girls in our courses and 5 cohorts.
Great. Okay, there's a lot to think about there and chew on, and we're gonna have questions about that. A couple of them come to mind, but we need to move to your two other colleagues. So who would like to go next?
All right, I think I can go next. This is Mohammad. You can call me Naweed. So I am also from Afghanistan. We started Generation of Change while I was in Pakistan with Safar. And what we did was the same as he told us. We started with just, volunteers, a few volunteers and online classes. Then magic happened. It grew like a tornado, and it just attracted a lot of students because there was a need. There was a need for this such thing, and fortunately, that made us encouraged, and we kept going, and now here we are.
That was fascinating. We all like magic, so we want to hear more about the magical ingredients that went into the evolution of it. But we need to move to the third guest here, Parwin.
Hello, everyone again. Thank you for having me. Not only me, my friends and my colleagues too. I'm Parwin Hamrah. I was born and grew up in Kabul, Afghanistan. And currently I am studying at the Asian University for Women. Before joining AW, I was studying at the Kabul University. I was studying BBA economics. And when the government collapsed, I was searching for a way to find a place for me to get education. Then when I moved to Bangladesh and I got offer from here. So when I have arrived here, so I saw that other girls there, they can study and they can work freely. So I was like thinking that I have to do more. I should not only think about my own life and not only about me, that I should get an education. That was the time that Safarjan asked me to join GOC, Generation of Change. And thanks to Safarjan, we started with a very small team, but our mission was big. And yeah, that's how we came together. And fortunately, we have passed more than 5 cohorts, and we are here now.
Well, two things come to mind. One is, what is a cohort? What does that mean? How do people study together, and what are they taking? maybe you could answer that one.
Oh,
Tell us, yeah.
yeah, your first question was cohort. So cohort, like at university, we have 1 semester, but for Generation of Change, we have cohorts. It's like 1 semester that it takes more than 3 months. And we have our curriculum. We have a book and other curriculum that the teachers are helping the students to cover them in the classrooms. And in each cohort, we have more than 500 students. We're starting with more, but because of some problems, maybe especially the internet and the access to electricity. So we're like finishing with around 4 or 350 students.
So tell us about, one of you could tell us about the curriculum and the teachers. I mean, are they working, they're all volunteers, they're unpaid teachers? Is the curriculum open access materials that you use from other universities and have compiled somehow? Or are you developing your own curriculum and people are one by one creating courses? So tell us a little more about the logistics of all this.
Both our teachers, they're all volunteer, but only their internet fees are paid. We're paying only their internet fees, but we're not paying them any fee or any salary. And they're all working voluntarily with us. And about the curriculum, we don't have a specific curriculum from GOC. We're like following other universities' curriculum. I think Safar can give you more information about that.
Thank you, Parwin. Yeah, as Parwin mentioned, that cohort is for almost 3 months. Students are studying for 3 months, and teachers are connecting with them via technology. Well, now John will elaborate on that, and also the curriculum. We are serving what's the best curriculum for the students, because every student's the request of students different. For example, a student wants to study one curriculum, but another student wants to study another curriculum. That's why we have a specific team for developing the curriculum and serving the students' outcomes, and also serving the teachers' outcomes, that how they perform how they use the curriculums that we have access to it. Unfortunately, we don't have any specific curriculum for the GOC, but we are using the online free resources from the internet that we found, because we are a non-profit organization and we don't have access to the direct fund or anything from other sources. That's why we are using the free sources to pave the way or provide free education for others that they are in need. And now John will more elaborate on the technology and also the courses that we are using, also the specific materials that we are using in our courses. Now John, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Yes, as they told us, so rather than the curriculum, which is open access resources that we have collected and combined together and made a custom one that kind of works with the situation that the girls in Afghanistan have, we did something that can work online, because it's very, very different than the classes we have in Western countries, in the United States, or anywhere else, because they have a lot of other challenges they're facing with, especially the electricity is the very first one, and then comes the internet connection activity problems. That's how we tried to somehow make a system that even if they don't participate every single day in their sessions, online sessions, they can still keep up with other students by self-studying that specific lesson. That's how we did it. And the technology we are using is for example, for online classes, we use Google Classroom. We use Google Meet to meet with the students and solve their problems and have a conversation when it comes to meeting each other and having, you know, a bit of understanding of what's going on in the organization and be connected to everyone. And we use WhatsApp to go with chatting and talking with each other. And again, we have different other things that we cover. But yeah, we can go over all of them once we have more questions.
I think Punya's going to jump in with a comment or question, but first I
Sure.
want to verify here, just a clarification. Um, are all the enrolled students here from Afghanistan women, or are they from other countries as well?
Most of them are women in Afghanistan who lost their education, who don't have the right to it. But we do have some other students that are from other countries that we had collaboration with other organizations in other countries. So what we did, we exchanged students between each other. So they had their own programs, we had our own. So we exchanged students so that everyone could, you know, have a bit of international education here.
What are the most popular classes that you have, or what are the base that they start with?
The most popular classes are English, first of all, and then comes computer classes, and then we have a lot of other small classes like graphic design, math, and others. So for our best focus is on English classes because that's what had helped a lot of students get scholarships and have opportunity to kind of work on their future despite all the struggles they're dealing with and everything. So that's what made us focus solely on English first, and then on computer. And we do have some other classes, as I mentioned, where we have collaboration with other organizations. So through them, we have coding classes, we have some robotic classes, and we have other classes that are small, but they make their own impact on that small number of students.
Yeah, I think we have it in the blog post if anyone's listening to this broadcast. Punya's going to jump in here. Punya?
Thank you. So first of all, I am just so impressed, and I just want to applaud the three of you for what you're doing. You know, we've been doing this show for a long time, and some of the most impressive ones are people like yourself who have just stepped up and seen a challenge and not seen that as being something that you can sit there and just worry about, but actually take action. So it just is amazing, and I just want to applaud you and the rest of your team. You know, I'm sure there are many more people behind this for doing this. It just is, you know, the value. You know, I've said this before in another episode, which was actually around Afghanistan, that very often here in the West, we don't recognize or understand the value of education and how that is truly the only vehicle for progress, and both individually and socially. And it's when you see situations like this where people don't have internet connections and they are trying to do things on WhatsApp and what you guys are trying to do, that you truly recognize the meaning and value of what learning and education is about. So I just wanted to just say that up front, that it's just so impressive to see the young people take this challenge on and do this work. So thank you, first of all, for that. And I'm so glad that you are here on SLL because it's a way of promoting and supporting, in some ways, making more visible the amazing work that you guys are doing. So that's one. I'm just curious about, like, how did, you know, yes, this is a situation, we all know this. How did this start? I mean, where do you even start with something like this that yeah, we can have an idea that we can do it, but to make it real? And how did each of your journeys sort of lead to this? So I think, so Naweed, was it you who sort of got the original thing, or was it, I wasn't clear about who did that, but maybe one of you can start about how this thing sort of got going, and how did you pull other people into this, and what your stories are into coming into and doing this work, because you have like full lives apart from that. You're students, you're working, you're doing stuff. So how did it come about, and what are each of your stories that made it happen? Whoever can go first. Yeah.
Okay, I can go first now, John, if it's okay. I want to say a short brief about myself again. I grew up in an orphanage in Afghanistan, and I got free education and also free resources. That's why I'm grateful for the previous government of Afghanistan. And after that, when the Taliban came to Afghanistan, I fled the country. I came to Pakistan and lived as a refugee. I didn't have access to the resources like education and other resources the same that refugees are facing right now in Pakistan, that they don't have any access to resources like education, which is we were on the edge of that. We need educations to build our future and to build to work on something. And that's why I came with the idea that why I should not use my time, my free time, to not only improve myself but also empower others. That's why I was thinking of starting a class only for myself, for a computer class, because I was good in computer. I came like, let's start ask some Afghan girls or some because we were in a group of WhatsApps and the technology era, and I sent the link that we can start a computer class, like maybe 20 or 30 girls, anyone wants, they can join us. And then I asked another friend, his name is Zikrullah Nuri. Also, he was my close friend, and I asked him, you can start an English class as well. And then I asked Naweed, you can start the graphic classes as well. And then we, like, as Naweed said, it started like a magic. We saw that so many students are interesting in our courses. I said, why we should not start a collaboration or as an organization to like collect funds for them to provide for their internet fees and ask for other volunteers, because it was growing very fast and it was fascinating for me. And I was seeing, and every day it was improving, and a lot of girls were joining our organization, because the girls in Afghanistan after, I guess, 2021, after return of the Taliban, all doors of schools and universities for girls are closed. And then this was the only opportunity. And after that, we saw so many other organizations like started the same work that we are doing. And also it was fascinating for me that seeing all the girls are joining and learning from the platform that we made, and also all the efforts our team are put on that. Especially, we had a small team, like maybe 10 person in the group, and everyone was responsible for a specific task. Like Naweed maybe was responsible for coordinating the programs, how should run the programs, and also then we came from teaching to running the programs for all the teachers that we had as a volunteer. And then Parwin came and other volunteers came to join us. And after 1 year, we got recognition of online organization from Canadian Women for Afghanistan Women. Parwin can elaborate on that. We got a certification from their organization. And yeah, this was the starting point.
Thank you. Parwin, Naweed, do you want to add how your stories intersected with this?
I think I can go. If I'm not wrong, Naweed and Safar and Zikrullah, they were all together. They were staying in one room. Maybe they were sharing the flat that they had. So they came up with this idea, and then I know Safar from camp back in Afghanistan in 2016. We went for a camp, a leadership camp in English language in Antalya, Turkey. So I know Safar from there. We were close to each other. We were in contact in social media. And when I moved here in Bangladesh, and when the government collapsed, so Safar contacted me and texted me that, yeah, we're planning to have an organization to teach English online for Afghan girls. do you like to join? So at first I thought that maybe how it is possible for us to run an organization. Then when we came together, I remember the first meeting that we had. So we had friends from different countries. We have from Kazakhstan, we had from Pakistan. Some of our friends were in US. I was here. So we were joining all online, and we came up together. And then Safarjan like coordinate everything very well. Like he divided who should do what, who should be responsible for what. And then we like the way that Naweed said, like it was like a magic. Then we came up with this organization, and they like we had the way that we had our students were like we were sharing the link for application in groups. Especially I asked some of my friends that if there's sisters are interested in learning English and they're in Afghanistan and they don't have any other opportunity to study. So like, and then we grow, and now we're here.
Thank you. Naweed, anything to add?
Yeah, I think they spoiled everything already. The only thing I would like to mention is that you know the interests and the level of enthusiasm the girls had when we first started, that was really amazing. That was the reason why we kept going with this. We just saw their smiles. We saw how really they into this thing, whether it was English class or anything. They were really putting efforts in it. That's why we really felt responsible for continuing this thing. We couldn't just leave it, because for it, as you said, everyone has their own personal lives, whether they're studying, they have work and stuff like that. I also was a freelancer there back in Pakistan. I also lived there for like almost 3 years, the same as Safar. So I had my own challenges, and I had my own hurdles. Despite that, the reason I felt responsible was just that smile and that enthusiasm the girls had. And yeah, that kept me going. And right now I'm in Washington. I still am kind of trying to contribute the best way I can to help maintain the programs and everything, and kind of have some updates on everything, because everything is changing, everything is developing. So we are trying our best to work on the curriculums, the programs, so that we can, keep up with the trends, and everything should be, up to date.
Thank you so much. And I just really want to just underscore one thing, and I think Chris is next, that the word that you used, responsible, and I think a lot of times in education, when we look at policy and stuff, everybody talks about accountability. But I think, accountability is always looking upward as to who I'm accountable to, and responsibility is what you're talking about, is this responsibility that you feel to the people who don't have, and recognizing how much they appreciate and how meaningful that is to them. And I just, again, really very impressive, and thank you for the work that you're doing, and that's just amazing. Chris, on to you.
Well, I would begin by echoing what Punya said about how impressive and important this is, and how it can be a model for people in other regions who might want to also create some kind of an online resource to help groups that have been marginalized. But I want to talk a little bit about online and then ask a question. So some people hearing that this is an online program would say, oh, well, okay, I guess it's better than nothing, but it isn't as good as face-to-face. And that is not at all the attitude that we take on Silver Lining for Learning. In fact, we began because we felt that people who were not prepared to do online learning well would blame the medium, as opposed to seeing that it is different than face-to-face, but very powerful in its own right. And in this case, it seems to me that online, I understand that you can't do face-to-face, but even if you could, it seems to me that online would be better for a couple reasons. One of them is, and you referred to this, that you have sort of a hybrid online because you have synchronous, but then you also have asynchronous resources. So if somebody has to miss something, they can do it through self-study. That's a valuable and important aspect. But what may be more unique is I would imagine that girls and women who graduate will not have as many opportunities face to face on the ground in Afghanistan as they might have online, reaching outside of the country and holding jobs that are centered elsewhere in the world. And having online learning is a very powerful way of learning to do online interaction and online working. So, yes, I know there are problems with electricity and the internet, but advances in solar power are gradually overcoming the electricity issue, and advances in, say, satellite technology are gradually overcoming the internet issues. And so I think that the trends are in the right direction, and that this can be a powerful online model that prepares people for work as well as providing them for education. So my question is, you mentioned graduates, and it's an impressive number already for a program that's not been in existence for very long. I'm curious as to what the graduates do. I gather that some of them are looking to be accepted at universities outside of Afghanistan and go there. But are there other people, and I know you said it's not just girls, but it's women, are there other people who are graduating and then going to online work, or are they going to work on the ground in Afghanistan? I'd love to hear some stories about your graduates.
I can go with that. About graduates, actually, as we talked about our curriculum, that our courses, graduate means to us that they're finished with the programs that they are studying, especially which is English or computer or any program they're studying. And yeah, after that, we came up, what should we do with them when they're graduating from, when they're learning English and when they're graduating? Me, Naweed, and our team, we on the meetings we talked about, and like yours, figuring out what should we do with them. Like we should leave them alone after graduation, or we should focus on another program. Then we came with the idea of providing the scholarship program, which is a scholarship guide program, which is guiding them to apply for US universities through Common App application. And then I got the responsibility of that programs. This year, I had 25 students in that program. Unfortunately, 4 of the girls got the scholarship. Sorry, my bad. They got the admission. They got admitted in the US universities, but they have not received a fully financial aid because of I don't know what are the policies in the US and how they are considering a fully financial aid for a Afghan girl. And also regarding the not only the girls, we had women in our courses that I remember from the second closing ceremony of our program that a mother of a girl asked to, she wanted to speak, and she said that after 20 years of gap in my life, I started learning English in GUC as a beginner. That was something for me that even after 20 years, how you can get interested in education, how you can get interested to start learning. And it was something that, yeah, you can start anywhere. Age is a number, and you can start anytime. And yeah, after that, I think she learned English and completed her course on the fourth cohort, and yeah.
And one thing I would like to add to what Safar said about our graduates is that we have some teachers right now who were actually students back in our first and second cohort. And we fortunately have some team members on board who used to be students. So that's a big achievement for us, starting from being a beginner class student and then coming to the board or teaching some specific classes. So we made a progress for them, like we made a kind of procedure for them, which was being a student, then you can be an assistant, then you can be a teacher, then you can come up and join the team as a board member to work on other aspects of the organization, whether it's developing the programs or it's guiding the teachers or working with the students as a counselor or somebody who can provide guidance when the teacher is not available. So we made sure everything is kind of smooth, and there is no gap between the team members or the participant, the girls.
You partly already answered my question. I was really curious about, who are the teachers, and because I imagine the teachers are not, it can't just be anyone. He has to know the language, who has to know the culture, and someone I feel the students can relate to. So I'm curious if you can tell us more about, who are your teachers, and again, I just want to echo what the other co-hosts already said, how inspiring and admirable what you're doing, and this how important this work is. And then you're not waiting for change to happen. You are the change maker, and I'm just so impressed and touched by what you're doing.
I am also very fascinated when it comes to thinking about their lives. They have their own challenges, despite being in that country, in that situation inside Afghanistan. They volunteered to teach. Okay, being a student is you are being privileged. You have that opportunity, you're learning something that makes logic, that makes sense. But when it comes to taking part in the organization without getting paid a penny, that's something we always appreciated our volunteers for, and that's what made us proud of the team and everything we are doing, because it means that we are somehow affecting their mind. We are kind of being a positive idea on their mind, and they're doing something for that, which is the main goal for sustaining the organization. Of course, I might not be there for forever with the team, but there is somebody else coming to the team every single month or every single year. That is what makes us believe in the organization, like put in more efforts, and we can count on it. And so for the teachers, about your questions, at first when we were very concerned about who should be the teacher, because yeah, of course, we have different cultures and everything, then with the team, after a lot of meetings, like when I say a lot, like a lot of meetings, we just finally made a final decision of opening up an online application to everybody who can see these are the requirements, or this is what we are doing, and if they are willing to volunteer to teach, they can just join our team. And when Parwin mentioned, yeah, we had teachers from Pakistan, we had teachers from Bangladesh, US, Afghanistan, and some other countries. So yeah, we fortunately we have a variety of teachers without even considering their geography or their culture or anything. They did a very fascinating job of teaching the students, because one thing we had in common was being able to teach English, the first thing we focused on. So yeah, everybody did their best, and then after that we started to recognize some students that were capable of teaching. They know the logic behind teaching others what they know. So that's how we came up with the second idea of letting the girls teach when they graduate from one specific program.
I'm curious, what language are these programs in, and what language do the teacher have to speak in order to teach the students?
That used to be only English. Yeah,
It's
just
entire
English.
Just English. So it's like
Entire. Mhm.
wow.
Yeah, the only thing we kind of made a little bit flexible was when students started to be a beginner student. You know, they used to start with alphabet and then go for noun, pronouns, and very, very basic things in English. Of course, we couldn't start with 100% English teaching. So what we did was we rotated it, we shifted it to a flexible thing that we mix the two languages together, Dari, which is national language of Afghanistan, and English together. And for some, like, luckily in Afghanistan, I don't want to say a percentage, but I would say like more than half of the population knows Dari. Dari is like the top first. So that is why we chose Dari. So it could kind of, you know, they could relate to the language and they could have that logic of what the word really means, because it's really hard to translate the one single word in many languages, because we already have Pashto, we have Uzbeki, we have Turkmeni, and we have Dari. So like a lot of other languages, we can the only way we could combine, like we could unite this was the only Dari. And of course English, because we started from mixing them up in the very first stages, and then after that every single time we were making a rule, just for the sake of, you know, adapting them to stay close to the language they are learning, rather than you know, being in their comfort zone and talk more Dari than English. That's what we made, you know, strict in the programs so that they can adapt with that rule.
Thank you. I don't know if others have something to add. If not, I think Young is next.
I think I can add, but like, first of all, I have a question. Like, are we only talking about the English, or we can add other programs that we have too? Because our English teachers are mostly our sisters and brothers from Afghanistan, but like women empowerment classes that we have teachers from US too, that they're native speakers.
Yeah, we can go with other programs as well. And I know you are contributing to creative writing, and yeah, I personally am a big fan of it. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, as part of our English classes, we have, as I said, women empowerment. So we have friendship writing classes. Like we have around 6 to 8 students in a group, and they're meeting each week once. They have a facilitator that they're from US, mostly they're trainers or writers or consultants that they're helping us. They're also working voluntarily with us. They're big supporters of us, especially me and Safar. They're always in contact with us. They're teaching creative writing for students. Like I'm like contributing with that. So I remember the first time that we managed to have these friendship writing circles, all the facilitators were like not complaining, but they were saying that students are shy, they're not writing, because I think that it's very difficult for us to write about ourselves, especially we girls that we are from Afghanistan. So we're never talking about ourselves. We're not writing about ourselves. So it's very difficult to write about maybe our weaknesses or our strengths, what we feel, how we feel, why we feel these things. So when we came up with this friendship writing circles, the facilitators were like kind of complaining that they're not responsive. Like we need to work more with them because they're feeling shy. Because when they're giving topics and the students have to write, they have 10 to 15 minutes, they're writing. And this is not like English classes that you should write, you should not have any mistake. It should be free of grammar errors, and you should use very good vocabularies. These friendship writing classes are not like that. Like you can write whatever you feel, and sometimes even you can write the word that you don't know, you can write it in diary, and then while you're reading, you're writing to others, others can help you to translate it. So I remember that they were complaining, but we had our last cohort, which was our fifth cohort last month. So I talked with one of the facilitator, and she was saying that the students progressed. They're writing very well. Even she was very interested that if the students are allowed to share their writings, that they can publish it maybe in a newspaper. Yeah, we have this achievements too.
That's truly amazing, because I feel you're not just, it's not just about teaching the language or like the curriculum that you're trying to teach. It's also about women to realize themselves, to reflect on themselves. And, as you said, they don't have these opportunities to do this. And it's truly wonderful what you're doing.
Even like when I was talking with some of the students, they were commenting that, yeah, it's a good opportunity for us because we are like-minded people. We share the same stories, the same pain or the same happiness or joy that we have. So we are coming together once in a week and we are sharing everything that we are feeling. And yeah, like we are feeling a bit relaxed, and the professors are also commenting. They're giving comments to the students. Other students are commenting to other students. So like if, for example, if I have a problem and I'm writing about that problem that I'm feeling, so others are giving me comments. So I can have more ideas how to solve that problem. Or if I'm feeling happy, so I'm sharing my happiness with others that they're feeling happy too. Or if someone is facing any problem and they're stuck with that, they don't know how to solve it, they're sharing through their writings, and all of them are coming together and they're finding solutions for that problem.
I know in a previous episode, we had women in Afghanistan, from Afghanistan in Bangladesh, and they wrote a book called Strong Schools. It was a press book that they did, an open book. So writing was very important to them, discussing possibilities for the future of schools in Afghanistan, and so forth. Lots of great info here today. Young's going to ask a question or has a comment. Young.
Well, thank you. The same like others. I just want to echo my co-host how impressed I am and we are, and the conditions, human conditions, can be made really bad, and that's I'm sure right now all of us are in a sense depressed. By all this fighting, unnecessary fighting just for a few people's satisfaction. I think this is we are increasing a lot more money in making weapons versus providing education. So I want to thank you for taking the opportunity, and also from what you described, what you provided is not only skills in computing or English, but you're really providing social and emotional grouping for people to feel good. People needs to be connected. Human beings need to be connected. So my question really has a lot to do with what Chris was talking about graduates. And because as you know, we typically from the West or other people from outside, when they offer help, they really deem the students as incapable. You know, even in American schools, we still think students are incapable. Teachers are there to teach them everything. And with groups like you are dealing with, and many people may think the students are incapable, but the students are definitely much stronger than we think. And also another problem in we examine education is, you know, in a Western education system, we're already reflecting how education has been teaching people to memorize, you know, memorize the skills and knowledge, but technology has already outpaced. So my question is really has to do you try to teach or help your students to grow their own business, to be more entrepreneurial? Because today, you know, with a lot of technology, if you simply memorize something, it's not very useful. But if you cultivate people's mindset, let's start a business or let's start something new, because you, the three of you, represent that entrepreneur spirit. You know, you think about something, you do it. You know, do it either for nonprofit, social enterprise, or business enterprise. Because nowadays, you know, simply learning something, yeah, it's fun, it's interesting, but we won't help people to go beyond. And moreover, as you know, the Western model of meritocracy has failed. You know, it's not helping people to get more equitable. You know, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. In America, we have the disappearance of the middle class. And so we need to move away from that. So anyway, my question is, I don't know how to frame it better, just to say, how do we help our students, no matter where they are, to develop more self-value in solving problems for others? So anyway, that's just, I would love to hear from three of you. What you guys are thinking about?
Thank you, Mr. Young, for your speech. And also, that's a good question, actually. We were thinking this as well, that we can start some programs to improve or to self-reliance on themselves, the students after graduating. Also, we can start some business classes for them to start their own businesses. They should not rely on their families. They should be independent. They can, because they're starting a family, maybe they're, or maybe they can support their families. And I don't know how much you know about the Afghanistan situation right now or the current policies. It's very hard to start something, especially the limits that the girls have. When you don't have the rights to education or to go to school, you cannot have the right to go outside with and start a business independently as a woman. And it's, I cannot say it's challenging, but it's impossible somehow. But I see some girls, that some brave women, and also girls that they have started their journeys. They have not saw this as a challenge. They started already as a family business, maybe as a online business, which is very famous today, which is a trend today, and they have started somehow. But yeah, but the opportunity and the possibilities are limited in Afghanistan. And also, especially when I was in Pakistan, I was seeing the girls and boys that they were going to school on daily basis, and they were participating in hospitals as a nurse. They were doctors, they were teachers. I was saying, what's wrong with Afghanistan? Why we don't have, why the girls are not allowed to go to school? And when I came to US, I saw so many opportunities for girls, and I'm seeing in daily basis that girls are participating in classes. We have professors, we have best doctors. Why not in Afghanistan? What will happen if you think what will happen after 20 years? The girls, when she's right now maybe 10 or 8 years, after 20 years she will be 28 years, and after what will be to her future? What will happen to her future? She has no education. she didn't know anything because she doesn't have the opportunity to learn. And if you see the future of Afghanistan after maybe 4 decades, what will happen to the Afghanistan? We'll have no doctors we'll have no women doctors, no teachers, no nurses who will take care of a lady patient, will take care of Afghan girls to educate them. Half of the populations are girls, half of the populations are women. And this is very challenging for us to educate all the girls. This is the biggest challenge that we are facing, that we cannot provide education for all the, we have 30 million population in Afghanistan, but half of them are women. If you consider right now, around roughly 1.1 million girls are banned from school. This is a very big amount that not only our organizations, that we have hundreds of organizations that they are working toward online education. That's impossible, I think, to provide education for all of them. They don't have internet. If you provide internet for all of them, this seems impossible. And also we have some places in villages we cannot send awareness, or we cannot like, they don't have access to internet, they don't have access to education, they don't have access to TV. How we can reach out to them? And yeah, this is something very impossible, but I think starting small and growing bigger is possible. Something we can change small. We can start small and change big. And we see now so many organizations, so many people around the world are focusing on Afghan girls' education, Afghanistan. I hope that the current situation changes and the schools are opens to the doors of schools and universities open to the girls. And yeah, that was a good suggestion, Mr. Young. Maybe we can focus on more to teach them how to earn for themselves, how to earn for their families. That's a good thing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Naweed John and Parwin John, do you want to add something?
John, I want to go first. I think one way that we can think about our graduates is that our graduates are in a level to like understand English better and to speak better. So I think that one way that we can do is that we can look for the partnership with other NGOs, maybe. Like I'm working with the CLPD Center for Leadership and Development programs at AW. So we're inviting from other organization for empowering girls, empowering programs for girls. So while they're coming and while they're talking, so I'm seeking an opportunity for Afghan girls too. Like if it's possible, we can do this online. One way that I found is, and I didn't share it with Safar, that in Bangladesh here, we have UNICEF that they are offering this. We have Google certificate classes that they are online, and when people are certified, they can work online too. I was thinking to collaborate with them in a way that our graduates or our senior students, that they are in a level to understand English better, in a way that they can understand all the materials that they're in English, like the business analytics courses, or they can take this kind of courses and they can be certified and they can work online. I didn't talk about this with Safar because we did not have the time, but I talked with the girl who was responsible, and I told that, yeah, we have this kind of organization. We are teaching them online. If it is possible, we can have around 10 students from our organization. We can introduce them to your organization in order that you can, in a way that they can collaborate and they can go for the certification process, they can study, and they will be certified, and they can apply for online jobs.
You know, I just want to add one thing. In the West, and even in China, there's so many middle school, high school students who are looking for something real to do. You know, they are doing fake projects in project-based learning. If you connect with them, there's a lot of great teachers, and also they can become mentors. They can also explore mutual business opportunities. You know, Safar, I mean, I understand it's limited, but you know, I like your long-term thinking in 10, 20 years. What would it be? I think, you know, if you're ready. So I will introduce your program to high school students. I'm going to Australia, hopefully. If they want to connect with you, how do they contact you? They just contact you by email?
Yeah, we have our contact information on the email. Maybe I can send you my contact information or
Yeah,
the
if they're interested, you know,
generation.
yeah, because I really think some should be, you know, and because, you know, we still in the West, we do not know a lot about, we only read the news. So thank you for sharing the information to us, you know, but it will be helpful for us to know a lot more, you know.
Yeah, I want to mention that we have so many wonderful organizations out there. Right to Learn organization, which is a Canadian-led organization, which is working toward Afghan girls' education, and also we have so many other organizations that they're helping directly Afghan girls and women. And also we are part of a big groups of organizations. We are part of that group and we are working with them, and also we are finding the opportunities. Help. They're working in different niches. They're working in different parts, especially some of them are working toward specifically for coding, some of them specifically for businesses, as you mentioned. And also we have collaboration with those organizations as well. And recently we got collaboration with US Pathway organization, which is in United States, and we secured roughly 25 scholarship for Afghan girls. That's a good opportunity for Afghan girls to study there, to finish their high school degree, and I think that's something we can expand it in the future maybe. And also 5 of our teachers got volunteer position in their organization as well, and they're receiving a stipend for maybe to support their families. Yeah, that's a good news for us.
Thank you. I think we're about running low on time here today, but it's been fascinating, the show. I know we all have many more questions, which is always a good sign that people are interested in this topic, more than interested, want to be involved in helping in some way, shape, or form. So we'll follow up via email with you. I know I will be sending a note to all of you. Again, thank you very much. You're doing a service that is beneficial to people, not just today, but the impact this will have in future generations is unbounded. So just a big round of applause. And again, congrats to Lydia on the new position. So thanks everyone here today. 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a show featuring Conmigo, from the Khan Academy. They were featured on 60 Minutes, and so they got 60 minutes of fame here in Hobart, Indiana. But next week, I am trying, I've got agreements from folks, Helen Crompton from Old Dominion and John Traxler from Wolverhampton, the Mobile Learning Chair of the UK. They have a book that came out right at COVID started called Critical Mobile Pedagogies, Cases of Digital Technologies and Learners at the Margin, where they talk about nomadic, refugee, rural, and marginalized populations in disadvantaged communities, the use of mobile technologies. They just agreed before this show started, but not coming next week. I'm trying to get them next week for our show. They'll be coming, whether it's next week or in the future, but the hope is that will be next Saturday and then the following week with Hobart, Indiana, and the intelligent tutoring system called Conmigo. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, everyone.